Welcome to the Millennial Life Coaches podcast. At MLC, our mission is simple: add value to help you take on massive action towards your life goals. Here, we feature amazing coaches from all over the world, share compelling stories, and discuss proven practices to help keep your energy high and in the flow. Learn more about MLC at millenniallifecoaches.com.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches. I am your host, Tanya, and today I am joined by the incredible Lindsay. Now, Lindsay is kind of amazing. Just getting to know her a little bit here, and I'm super excited what she's about to share. She is a spiritual guide, really works on empowering yourself more so in remembering who you are. And she does it by tapping into number frequencies, which is super interesting. So, Lindsay, I could try to dissect that and say it, but you're going to say this so much more eloquently than I ever could. So, welcome to the show, first and foremost. And can you share a little bit about all this? Because I'm super intrigued right now.
Thank you, Tanya. This is a pleasure to be here. A little bit about me. I'm Lindsay Joy. I spent 22 years in corporate America, climbing the ladder, chasing after success, searching for who I was. And it really wasn't until I reached the top and achieved everything I wanted that I hit a point where I fell apart. And I recognized I had been chasing my entire life after this dream of chasing after somebody that I didn't even know who I was anymore. And I started to realize that I was playing a character and it wasn't me. And I was fulfilled. I had this perfect life, beautiful family, home, cars, like everything that you could imagine, I had. I had the American dream. So why wasn't I happy?
Yeah.
So I started diving deep. I started deep into meditation, and I started to understand who I am based off the number of frequencies. And this is where our baby was born, square nine.
Yes.
And square nine is an understanding of who we are based off of numbers. So imagine numerology 2.0, taking life paths to the next level. Every number has a frequency, and every frequency talks to us to help us understand who we are. So the number frequencies in square nine help us understand not only who we are and the traits that we came here with, but also the traits we're missing. And the moment you dive deep into your specific birthday and your numbers, you start to understand how in the world do these numbers have such a framework to tell me who I am? And then it starts to click. There's more in the world than what we know.
I love this. Okay, so I'm gonna just ask all the questions. So for my listeners out there who have never heard about numerology before, I know you kind of touched on it by telling about who you are and who you're not, but can you explain a little bit more about the premise behind numerology and how this takes it to that 2.0 status? Like from someone who's maybe never heard of this and this is the first time, they're like, wait a minute, I have a number that can tell me about myself. Like, what does this mean?
So the way square nine works and the understanding what we call numerology 2.0, every number has a quality. For example, ones. One is about a voice to speak up for yourself. When you have one, you have a voice to speak up for you. When you have two, you have a voice to speak up for yourself as well as others. And you start to gain more knowledge that each number has a different frequency, and a frequency means something different to everybody.
That's really interesting. Okay, so how many numbers can you possibly have, and do they work together? Do they kind of contradict each other at any point?
So basically what you do is you take your birth date and you fill it out in a square that looks similar to a tic-tac-toe board right now. And we put each number into the frame, and each number tells you a little bit about the qualities that you have. Okay. So for example, in our website, somebody would go, they would enter in their birth date, and out would come an algorithm basically saying, based off of who you are right now, these are the traits that you carry. And then you hear this and you're like, oh, yeah, that is me. I do have that. I am telepathic. I do connect really well with animals. I do have self-discipline. It does help me get there. But what we do is we help you understand who you are, but more so the qualities that you're missing to help you become complete and help you remember who you are. Because at the end of the day, everybody's following a different path. Everybody has a different mission. But what if we're just playing characters? What if we're just playing roles of a controlled environment?
Okay.
So
I
then
like
once you
that.
start to understand who you are a little bit more, you take back a little bit more of that power and you start to use that energy for you instead of against you.
That's amazing. So through this work, have you seen people like really come home to themselves and make massive change?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, as we've been developing this, a big thing that comes here is Square Nine gives you the opportunity to rewire your mind. Right now, we're living in a world where we're controlled by fears, anxieties, worries. We're living in our lower chakras. And Square Nine helps you take back all that power to learn how to balance your energy so that you can operate from a place of unconditional love. And when you operate from a place of unconditional love, you start to give yourself what you need instead of giving all your energy away and being everything to somebody else. You start to realize that we attract what we are and that the outer world is nothing but a mirror of our inner world. And the way we talk to ourselves, the way we treat ourselves, it's a reflection of what we see in the outside world instead of the opposite. So when Square Nine really helps people remember who they are, but also identify, what do I need to be the best version of me? Because nothing changes until you change.
Yep. I love that. And I love how you said that. How can I be the best version of me? Because I find so many people out there. That's what we're actually seeking, whether we're using that language or not. We're just trying to show up and be the best version of us and kind of tackle this life in a way where we're, like you said, removing that anxiety, removing that fear, and stepping into that incredible version of us that's here to do amazing things. Because I truly believe everyone in this world has come with a gift and a talent that they're meant to share. So it's really interesting that this helps put it all together. So how was Square Nine kind of created? Like, how did you guys go through this process? What made you even come up with this? Let's switch this
Sure.
up a bit.
Sure. So, my best friend, my spirit guide, she's a pure channel. She went through a near life death experience. And when she came back about 20 years ago, she came with knowledge. And the knowledge is knowledge from the future. It's her gift to the world. And it's all channeled knowledge that the more we've been practicing it, the more we've been sharing it with others, we realize how real this knowledge is and how powerful this knowledge is and how special this knowledge is for anybody that is open to taking the time to do a little work to diving into who they are.
Okay. So if someone listening is like, okay, like you mentioned on the website, I can go, I can put in my numbers, I can learn a little bit. Say I do that. What happens next?
So what happens next is really all up to you. From here, Svetlana, who is my partner in the business, we do one-on-one readings, we do one-on-one coaching. Depending on somebody's needs, most of our services are customized to a specific person.
Okay.
Because what works for me and what works for you are going to be two different things because we have different purposes, we have different paths. But I'm here to let you know that it's possible. It's possible to remove the fears in your mind that are keeping you from becoming the best version of yourself.
I love that. Okay. That's amazing. Numerology has always fascinated me. So I really love that you guys are taking it to that next level because I truly do believe that all those numbers mean something. Like it's not a coincidence.
Well, no, not here. The thing is, I believe our minds are being controlled by fears. And when we can learn to release those fears and recognize that there's more to us being here on earth right now. Like, we're here for a purpose. We're here to learn, and everybody has a different experience, but we're right now, everybody's being so controlled. The environment, the food we're eating, the thoughts we're thinking, they're not ours. And if they're not yours, when you hear a thought in your head, who's talking? It's not you. If you can hear someone talking to you, if you hear thoughts in your mind, they're not yours. So through Square Nine, it really helps people turn that off so that they can reconnect with themselves, learn how to dive deep into their own minds, their own hearts, so that they can be happy. They can reconnect with the joy inside of them. You know, we're all born unconditional love human beings. And then society changes us. Our parents, our siblings, our schools, we're all controlled. And it's all about learning how to break free from that control to connecting with you and remembering I don't have to be somebody who everybody else wants me to be or who I've been all along. At any point, I can restart over. The thoughts in my mind, I can rewire and I can change them.
That's so beautiful. I want to ask you about like experiences people have had, but I don't want to put you on the spot with all the clients and stuff. So maybe let's share a little bit of your experience. So since
Please.
you've tapped in and you've done this and you put yourself through it, obviously, in order to help create it, what kind of things have shifted and expanded within your life?
Gosh, my whole life has changed. You know, like I said before, I started off in corporate America, extremely, successful. Like I thought success was titles and money. And it wasn't until I reached the top that I realized I want more. But by more, I really meant less. So I
Mm,
started diving deep into meditation and I started practicing meditation. I started practicing affirmations. And basically, I started faking it. I started looking in the mirror and saying words of who I wanted to be instead of maybe who I was. And even when I didn't think it was possible, I was the breadwinner of my house. How could I leave my job? You know, we have the golden handcuffs. The money's too good to walk away from corporate America.
until it's not.
Until it's not. For me, a big part of that was like I said, I got deep into meditation, I got deep into healing, I got deep into connecting with who I was, and I started asking questions. And this was many, many years ago. And the first thing that happened to me was I lost my job. And when I lost my job, it gave me the time back to reinvest into me.
It was a beautiful gift. I love
It,
that.
it was it was a beautiful gift, and I was somebody who was taking anti-anxiety medications, running myself ragged, thinking I was identified by, how much money I made, my job I had, and I was drained. I was just in a burnout phase, and I didn't know what was next for me.
Interesting. And you found through the numbers, you found that clarity.
Through the numbers, it's the guide. It's the entry step into there's more.
Yeah.
There's more. When I first got my first reading from Svetlana, it was mind blowing to me. How could she understand who I am better than I understand myself? How could she say things to me that hurt so bad? For example, number six. If you don't have a number six in your month, day, year of your birthday, you don't have unconditional love for yourself. You've never been taught, you've never seen what it's like to truly provide unconditional love for yourself. So for me, that was a big first step, learning what Lindsay really needed. And what Lindsay needed wasn't a big paycheck. It was just being kind to myself, slowing down, treating myself the way I deserved to be treated, the way I wanted to be treated. And I started practicing. I started practicing self-love, self-care.
I love that. I don't know if this is an okay question to ask, but I'm going to ask it anyways. I don't know if it might be more complicated than we need it to. But you kind of said so one is speaking up for yourself, two is speaking up for yourself and others, six is unconditional love. What's three, four, five, seven, eight, and nine?
So let me just give you a high level. So, and when I was saying before, like one, so what you do with square nine is you take your birth date. For example, if somebody's birth date is June 4th, 1984, the first thing I do is I put it into the algorithm. And from there, I'd see, okay, you have 1-1. So 1-1 tells me that you have a voice to speak up for yourself. You have 0-2s. So knowing that you have 0-2s tells me that you've never truly, as a child, experienced deep care and empathy for yourself. 3 is a lot of creative energy. 4, self-discipline. 5, sense of freedom, body movement. 6, unconditional love. 7, this is your spirit. Gratitude. 8 is all about empowerment. 9 is all about knowledge. But it's so much deeper because as you have 2 9s, it takes it into a different level. As you have 3 9s, you can tell so much deep stuff about a person, down to if they've been through any type of abuse.
Interesting.
Square nine really helps us understand that we're living in a controlled environment based off of number frequencies. So everything isn't numbers, but everything is frequencies.
I love that. Okay. So for my listeners out there, obviously we've had a good conversation. I'm assuming most people are like me and they're like, okay, so how do I do this?
Yeah.
Where can they find access to the tool? What's the website to go to?
So we're just getting ready to launch the website very shortly. So this is like super exciting, and I'm so grateful to be here right now because the website is going to be coming out shortly. Before then, we've just been doing one-on-one readings. We go live on TikTok, and that's where we've received most of our clientele through readings that way. We do readings at coffee shops locally, events locally. So the website is really taking it to the next level for us to get this out there for the world to see and for the world to take the knowledge to say, let me just understand this a little bit more. Let me understand through who I am through the numbers of vibrations. And then once people get that, they'll get a reading. And they'll get the reading. And then if they have additional questions and want to dive deeper, if they're interested in healing mechanisms, that's where we dive in and step in and help based off of what somebody needs.
I love this. Okay. So by the time this airs, the website may or may not be live. So we'll make sure that it is linked and in the show notes for
Perfect.
everyone. We'll get your
Awesome.
TikTok and everything. So that will be in the show notes. Perfect. Well, I'm running out of time here and I'm not supposed to record too much further, but I could keep talking forever here. So as we bring this to a wrap, is there anything else that you would think are last thoughts that our readers just need to know or maybe take into consideration as they're searching for these tools and they're searching for these answers to really remove those fears and come back to themselves?
Yeah, I think the big thing that everybody needs to understand is all of your answers, all the questions that you're wondering, everything you want to know, they're all within you. Nobody else is going to be able to give you the answers. And I'm here to let you know it's possible. I'm here to let you know that I am living proof that you can rewire your mind. You can release the thoughts that you're thinking. And you can understand that we all live in repetition of who we were molded to be between the age of 0 to 7. So there's so much more power you have by releasing the power and remembering who you are. It's a deep dive healing journey, and this is the start. This is a foundation to let you to give you a head start on here's who I am, here's what I need to practice, and here's a roadmap for me to come back to home.
I love that. Oh my goodness. What a powerful way to just, I'm going to end it there because come back to home. Fantastic. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for joining me today. This has been so much fun. I cannot wait to see how the website launch goes. And I'm so grateful that you're bringing this to the world. Oh my goodness. Like I said, we will get everything in the show notes below. Thank you to all of our listeners. This has been another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches, and we will see you on the next one.